mind, let us take a look back at the events that led to the death of Susanna Cox. Although they took place 200 years ago, they have a strange parallel on the world today. Susanna was born in 1785. Nothing is known about her family but that it was large and they had very little money. At the age of 13, Susanna was bound out to the Snyder family with the understanding she would work there for board and lodging and continue to work there until someone came to marry her. No one ever came for Susanna. The Snyders lived on a large farm in the Ole Valley, approximately 20 miles south of here. Susanna never left that Ole Valley. She never learned to read or write, and she had very little religious training. She could not even write her own name. On a neighboring farm lived the Berks family. Mr. Mertz, a father of 2 children, took notice of Susanna and started to visit her secretly at night. When Susanna became pregnant, she was so upset she hid it from everyone, for she was afraid she would be put out of the Snyder household where she had been for 11 years and was quite happy. On Friday, February the 17th, 1809, Jacob Gare, a son-in-law of the family, went into the coal cellar. Now this is a separate building formed of stone and piled against a huge bank. There he found a body of a male baby, frozen body, wrapped in an old coat. When questioned, Susanna admitted it was hers. It had been born dead 3 days before, and she was so upset she didn't know what to do, so she hid it. An inquest revealed, however, the baby's jaw was broken, the tongue had been torn loose, and a wad of flax had been stuffed in the baby's throat. Susanna was arrested. She pleaded not guilty, but she was placed in the jail in Reading at 5th and Washington Street, the county seat, to await trial. Previously, there had been 2 other women hanged in Berks County for the killing of their children. They were hanged on a law brought from England. Now, the law stated that a woman could be hanged for concealing the birth and death of a child. She did not have to be responsible for the death. Concealing it was enough for the hanging sentence. The liberal thinkers of that day tried to get that changed in 1804, and they thought, in 1794, and they thought they were succeeding. And then in 1804, a woman had been tried for killing her child, and she had been acquitted. And now came another one, Susanna Cox. The state authorities were quite perturbed, for they were afraid Susanna would be acquitted. So they sent the state deputy attorney general, Samuel D. Franks, to head the prosecution. At this time, there was much aversion to strict laws, and large sums of money were collected for Susanna's defense. The 3 ablest attorneys were secured for this defense. In fact, it was all this legal battle that led to the interest in Susanna. The case was tried on Friday, April 7, 1809, before Judge John Spade. The trial lasted just 1 day. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. The verdict? Guilty. On Saturday, she was to be hanged. Judge Spade had no other choice. She had to be hanged. Having to pronounce this sentence was so upsetting to him that he resigned his bench within the month. The case was tried on April 7th. Now, while waiting to be hanged, Susanna was again confined to the old jail, where she spent the days as the maid to Sheriff Marks, even taking her meals with the family. And again, forces rallied and tried to save Susanna. This time they pleaded with Governor Simon Snyder to commute her sentence, and they thought they were succeeding when a Lancaster County woman was arrested for killing her child. Governor Snyder ordered Susanna to be hanged on Saturday, June the 10th, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Reverend Philip Reinhold Pauley, a pastor of a Reformed church in Reading, had been giving Susanna religious training while she was confined to the old jail. When her commutation was denied, Susanna then admitted her guilt to Reverend Pauley. Never in her whole life had Susanna had a new dress, and so the women of Reading, who had visited her frequently while she was in jail, made her a lovely white dress with black bows. The first day Susanna wore her new dress was her last day alive. The procession from the old jail at 5th and Washington Streets and then down to Penn and all the way up Penn to City Park, where Gallows Hill was located, was a regular parade. It included in order an infantry, a fife and drum corps playing a funeral march, a horse-drawn wagon with a coffin upon it, Susanna leaning on the arm of Reverend Pauly, the sheriff's party, and a group of onlookers estimated to be approximately 20,000. The hangman, whose identity was never revealed, arrived masked. As was custom, he was paid on the spot with silver dollars. When he was finished, he got as far as 6th and Penn and was grabbed and beaten by the crowd. He did manage to escape. He rushed down to the Schuylkill River and was just in time to catch the ferry that was crossing the river. After a prayer by Reverend Pauly, a hymn which Susanna had memorized was sung, and then the deed was done. Susanna was the last woman to be publicly executed in Pennsylvania. After her death, there were many songs and poems written about Susanna, and I'm going to share a portion of one with you at this moment. Just as the clock did strike 11, she straightway from the jail was led to where the gallows stood. Oh, lamentable tale! So piteous her crying was, so great her anguish and her fears, that every heart was moved and every eye shed tears. She then was made to undergo the punishment of death. Scarce 17 minutes had expired when she resigned her breath. Short was and sad her pilgrimage, her youth mere drudgery, her age but 20 years and 4. Her exit, infamy.
Get the execution.